Whether old or young, every one of us loves stories. They evoke emotions. They make us happy, angry, or even sad. But mostly they entertain us. Therefore, it is no wonder that today, a multi-billion-dollar industry has built around our desire to hear, read, or see interesting stories. Storytelling is something that is limited to humans. A group of apes is not sitting on a tree chatting about events of their past. I mean, why would they? It is not like telling stories would help them to get their daily dose of bananas. But why have humans started to tell each other stories? While most people will say that stories exist to entertain us, they forget that they also have a practical purpose. They help us to make sense of a world that is growing more complex every day. This purpose is most visibly reflected in the stories that we tell children. They contain important lessons necessary for living in our society. If you wanted to know how long humans have been telling each other stories, you would just have to look at the 36,000-year-old cave paintings of Chauvet, which, according to some scientists, tell the story of a volcanic eruption. I would say that the ability to tell stories, to connect information about our past, present and future is what made us humans. Therefore, it is no surprise that some of the stories we are telling are very, very old. Although they don't have survived completely, some fragments even survive today. And therefore, I want to tell you the story of Manu and Yemo, the Indo-European Creation Myth, which is believed to be at least 6,000 years old. But first I must give you some background information. The Proto-Indo-European language is the language from which all Indo-European languages, so English, German, Indian, Latin, etc. originate. It is believed that it was spoken around 6,000 years ago by the inhabitants of the Russian-Ukrainian steppe. From here it spread around the Eurasian continent. The concept of a Proto-Indo-European language was first discovered in the late 18th century by William Jones. He discovered similarities between Gothic, Latin, Greek, Persian and Sanskrit languages, and therefore concluded that they must have had the same ancestor. For example, both Latin and Sanskrit use the word Mata for mother. In the 20th century, genetic studies proved this theory by showing a similar steppe ancestry in regions that are now speaking an Indo-European language. Jones' discovery started a race for the reconstruction of the Proto-Indo-European language. Some words were easier, like family names, for example daughter, in Gothic, Dauda, in Sanskrit Duita. Those rather changed very slowly, but they also recreated more complex words, like terminology related to wagons. But in the 70s, a linguist named Lincoln was able to reconstruct the Indo-European creation myth, based on similarities between different creation myths in the Indo-European culture. Let me tell you that story. The twins, Manu and Yemo, and their cow wander around the universe. One day, they come across a place where they want to settle, but they can't do that on their own. They need the assistance of the Skyfathers. In order to ask for help, Manu sacrifices Yemo. The gods answer their request and help to form Earth, sun, wind and water, everything that humanity needs to prosper. With this, Manu creates the ritual of sacrifice and becomes the first priest. From him originate the humans, and therefore we are ancestors of Manu, mankind. Later the kettle is given to Trito, the third. However, it gets stolen by a snake, and Trito has to fight to get it back. He becomes the first warrior. He gives a part of the stolen kettle to the priest, who ensures the continuation of the sacrifices. Most clearly the story is conserved in the Rig Veda, written in the year 1200 BC. Here, Yama or Yemo dies as a sacrifice, also at the hands of his brother Manu. In the Germanic mythology, the myth is preserved in the form of Ymir, which derives from Yemo. Here, the world gets formed out of Ymir's body. But it also survives on a much smaller scale. For example, Rome is founded by twins, from which one dies. The story of Manu and Yemo tells us much about our ancestors, how they thought about themselves and the world they lived in, what role they had in the universe, and all of this without digging in the dirt. We just have to look at our modern languages. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to support me, subscribe to my channel and share this video with your friends. See you next time. Bye.